Hi Vintage Bakers! Today I'm in the kitchen making dreamy apple cinnamon rolls. These cinnamon buns are made of lovely warm pillowy soft rolls swirled with thinly diced apples and sweetly spiced cinnamon sugar. This recipe takes the classic cinnamon bun and elevates it with soft baked fresh apples. If you've never had cinnamon rolls before, you're missing out on one of life's simple pleasures. I've been making and perfecting soft, rich cinnamon rolls for over 10 years, and I can't wait to share this extra special variation with you. So, how do you make this dreamy bake as close to culinary perfection as possible? Let's get into the kitchen. This is how I make apple cinnamon rolls. In a large bowl, add 1 cup of warm milk, 1/4 cup of white sugar, and 2 1/4 teaspoons or 1 packet of dry active yeast. I'm going to set this aside for a few minutes until I see the yeast rise to the surface in a pale foamy cloud on top of the milk. For super rich and soft cinnamon buns, I'm going to be using an enriched dough, which basically just means I'm using ingredients with more fat. Lightly beat 1 egg and add this to the bowl, along with 1/3 cup of softened butter, 1 teaspoon of salt, and finally 3 1/2 cups of bread flour. Bread flour is going to give us the most pillowy soft rolls, but if you only have all-purpose flour at home, this will work interchangeably with the bread flour. Mix and knead this mixture until you have a smooth, elastic dough ball. This will take about 5 minutes in a stand mixer or 8 minutes by hand. If you're kneading by hand, once the dough holds together, tip it out onto a floured counter, and with the heel of your hand, press the dough down and away from yourself. Fold the dough over on itself and towards you. Then with the heel of your hand, press down and away from yourself again. Continue using the same motion until you have a smooth dough ball. I'm going to place the dough in a bowl, cover, and allow it to puff up in a warm place over the next hour. While I'm waiting, I'm going to prepare my special star ingredient, the apples. Peel, core, and thinly slice 3 medium apples. These are going to add even more flavor to my richly spiced sweet buns. Now I can tip my risen dough out onto a floured table and, using a rolling pin, roll the soft dough into a large rectangle. Make sure to move and flip the dough around often to make sure nothing is sticking to the table. Now it's time to get to that all-important cinnamon roll filling. In a bowl, I'm going to mix together 1 cup of brown sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now this next part is a bit controversial. Yes, even cinnamon rolls can face controversy on the internet. There are 3 main ways to swirl my cinnamon filling into the buns. The first way, and in no particular order, is to spread a layer of softened butter onto the top of the dough rectangle, then sprinkle evenly over top the cinnamon sugar. The second way is to pour melted butter into the cinnamon sugar mixture, and then turn it into a sort of sugary paste to spread on the dough. The third is to whip the softened butter and cinnamon sugar together to form a soft, fluffy spread to butter on top of the dough. For this recipe, I'm adding 1/2 cup of melted butter to my cinnamon sugar. I've used all 3 methods, and this is the one I prefer, but please feel free to use whatever method works for you. Now that I have this spread evenly over top the dough, I can scatter the little pieces of apple over the cinnamon sugar. Starting from one of the shorter sides of the rectangle, roll relatively tightly into a log. The dough is still going to rise again before we bake, so the buns will tighten as they rise. I'm going to cut the log into 12 equal buns. No need to measure it exactly. I have a rectangular casserole dish that I'm going to be baking the cinnamon rolls in, so I'm going to arrange the rolls inside, making sure that they have enough space to puff up as they rise. Cover and place in a warm spot to rise for about 45 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to preheat the oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees Celsius. Bake the rolls for 30 to 35 minutes or until they are deep golden brown. For me, cream cheese icing is a must for the perfect cinnamon roll. The sweet tang complements the spice-sweet apples and pillowy buns perfectly. I'm going to set my baked buns and bubbly cinnamon sugar to the side while I prepare the decadent cream cheese icing. In a large bowl, cream together 1 brick of softened full-fat cream cheese and a 1/4 cup of softened butter. Add in 2 cups of icing sugar, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. Mix this on low to incorporate the sugar and then beat until light and creamy. Spread a generous dollop of the icing on each bun before serving. Enjoy! If you're a fan of deliciously simple vintage recipes and old-fashioned skills, then you'll want to check out this next video. Thanks for stopping by.